Karmis, they will say, those who are engaging in karma, they'll say, our guru is Vyas. All jnanis, those who are mental, or jnanis can also be those who are speculating, mental speculators, or those who are trying to study the scriptures and understand them by their own reasoning, their own logic. They'll say Vyasa is our guru. Those who are practicing mystic yoga, those yogis, they'll say Vyasa is our guru. And those who are Vaishnavas, those who are Bhaktas and practicing Bhakti yoga, they will also say Vyasa is our guru. So Narad Muni is saying, like, everyone considers you to be guru, but actually you're not speaking clearly that Krishna is Supreme Lord. Have you mentioned that these pastimes about how Krishna is running from the grinding motor and how Mother Yashoda is chasing after him? Have you spoken these things? Have you spoken how once Srimati Radhika, she did not want to see Krishna, so she covered herself with a veil, and she would not allow anyone to speak to her. So at that time, Krishna disguised himself as a brahmachari and went to ask for bhiksha. And he dressed himself up as a Shaivite brahmachari, as a worshipper of Lord Shiva. And he came chanting, Alak Niranjan, Alak Niranjan. And so the Radharani's, her Sakis, told her, oh Radharani, there's one person that's out there, he's asking for bhiksha. Actually, the first person who came out was Jatila. Jatila came out and said, okay, here Baba, here's some dakshin, here's some bhiksha, here's some fruits or whatever for you to eat. And Krishna, disguised as the brahmachari, said, no, I don't take bhiksha. No, I cannot take bhiksha from you. Why not? Because you're a widow, so I cannot take from you. I have to take from somebody who's from a married lady. Like, okay, I'll get my daughter-in-law. And so they got Radharani, and Radharani covered herself with a veil, and she tried to give bhiksha to the brahmachari, who was Krishna in disguise. And Krishna said, no, I don't take bhiksha like this. I can't see your face, I don't know if you're young, I don't know if you're old. Well, for all I know, you could also be a widow. So Radharani said, okay, fine. So she didn't want to do it, but somehow or other, her Sakis, they convinced her to do it. And so she lifted her veil and she saw Krishna disguised as a brahmachari. And then that brahmachari told her, I've not come to beg you for these fruits and all these things. I've come to beg you for your mom, for your jealous anger. And the Radharani, she smiled and she got the basket of fruits and she put it on Krishna's head and all the fruits fell on him. So Narad Muni, he was telling this to Vyasadeva, and he was telling Vyasadeva, have you described these pastimes? No, wonderful. So Vyasadeva, Narad Muni then told him, you have to explain very clearly who Krishna is. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. At that time, Narad Muni, he told Vyasadeva the Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 shlokas. Originally, the Srimad Bhagavatam was in 4 shlokas. Lord Narayan, he spoke these 4 shlokas to Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma spoke them to Narad. And then Narad spoke them to Vyasadeva. And after hearing them, Vyasadeva, he went into samadhi, he went into meditation. And he meditating onto all these different things. Like, he saw so many different pastimes. And he saw the first canto, the second canto, third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, sixth canto, seventh canto, eighth canto, ninth canto. Finally, he reached the 10th canto into Krishna's pastimes. He saw all these things. Then he came out of his samadhi, and then he wrote Bhagavatam. And he expanded those 4 shlokas, he expanded them into 18,000 shlokas. He expanded them into 18. Actually, previously he had already written a Bhagavatam. If you can find that listed in the different Purans, he already wrote on Srimad Bhagavatam. But this was before the meeting with Narad Muni. After Narad Muni spoke to him, Vyasadeva understood, okay, I'm going to write it properly and I'm going to edit what I wrote. So now then Vyasadeva he edited what he wrote. He edited what he wrote, and he made the Bhagavatam what it is now.
But what happened to the Pujari who didn't pay obeisances to the Nityananda?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I'm getting to that. So what happened was that Vyasadeva he taught on he taught the various Vedas to four of his disciples, Vaisayapayana Muni, Paila Muni, Jaimini Muni, and one more. There was one Muni who was named Dharuna Muni, or that wasn't his actual name, but he was called the Dharuna Muni because he memorized the Atharva Veda, and the Atharva Veda has all the curses and all the spells and everything. So people were afraid of him, so they would call him Dharuna Muni. Anyway, he taught all these four things to these four disciples. And then Ramaharshan, he was in charge of the Puranas. So he was taught all the Puranas. And one day when Ramaharshan, he was speaking in a fire yajna, there were some different sages. It was Shonaka Rishi and others. They had him speak, and he was speaking. And at that time, Baladev Prabhu, he arrived in that assembly. And all the sages, they offered obeisances to Baladev Prabhu, except Ramaharshan. And so when Baladev Prabhu was seeing this, he got on a piece of kusha grass, like you mentioned, and he just touched him, and he killed him. Baladev Prabhu is Guru Tattva, he's Guru. So you have to always offer obeisances to Guru. For example, I'm speaking right now, but if Srila Gurudev were to walk in, I have to get up from this seat and I have to offer obeisances to him and ask him for something. I was watching one video on YouTube of one devotee, and he was giving class, and he didn't realize how his Gurudev walked into the room. He walked into the room and he sat down in his disciples' class, and he was just listening. And the devotee was speaking and everything. He was like, "Oh wow!" Yeah, and then he got off from his vyasa and he offered his obeisances to his guru. Anyway, that was funny video I saw on YouTube. Anyway, getting back to the point. Yeah, so that's why Medikirtan Ramdas Thakur, he said, "Aho, I have found the second Ramaharshan." And so seeing this, the brother of Krishna's Kaviraj, he started speaking to Krishna's Kaviraj. Oh, these guys, they just worship Nityananda, they're in Maya, they don't understand how glorious Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Yeah, it was that bad. And Kaviraj Goswami, he argued with him, what are you talking about? Nityananda Prabhu is the other half of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These two are brothers, you cannot separate them. Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu are not different from each other. And Nityananda Prabhu is so dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's so many examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. One time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was telling Raghav Pandit, you have to be very careful. What are you talking about, Mahaprabhu? You have to be very careful, Raghav. What are you talking about? You have to be very careful with Nityananda, not to make any offense to him. And one time, because Nityananda Prabhu, he would engage in so many different activities, like fighting with crocodiles and all these things. So some people even at the time of Mahaprabhu, some people, they did not understand Nityananda Prabhu very well. They had some negative idea about him. So at that time, Mahaprabhu, he asked Nityananda Prabhu, I want something from you. Oh, what do you want, Nimai? I want your kopin. And Mahaprabhu said, and Nityananda said, my kopin, what do you want that for? No, don't ask me why, you just give it to me. And so Mahaprabhu got on Nityananda Prabhu's kopin and he ripped it up into pieces and he distributed it to the devotees. And he told them, you take shelter of this kopin, of these pieces of kopin, Nityananda Prabhu. This is your kavach. This is your armor. This will protect you from lust and you will conquer material existence by wearing these pieces of cloth of Nityananda Prabhu. So many examples we can give about, so many things we can say about Nityananda Prabhu. Our Narottam Das Thakur said, Heno nitai bhinipai, Radha Krishna paitenai. Brother, if you do not worship Nityananda Prabhu, it is not possible to attain Radha and Krishna. Just forget about it. elsewhere and in the same song, Narottam Das Thakur has said, Nitayat Karuna Habe, Vraje Radha Krishna Pave. But with the mercy of Nityananda, you can attain Braj. Actually, if you think about it, nobody can attain Braj without the mercy of Nityananda. Or what to speak of Braj, any dham, Jagannath Puri or Navdeep. Only by the mercy of Nityananda you can attain those places. Think about it. Jiva Goswami, how did he take darshan of Navdeep? By whose mercy was Navdeep Dham revealed to him? By Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, he took Jivan Parikram of Navdeep. Nityananda Prabhu, by whose mercy? Oh, this is an interesting story. Our Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he desired to reside in Navdeep Dham, especially Koladweep. He wanted to reside in Navdeep Dham. So he went to Ekachakra Dham, to the birthplace of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and he offered obeisances to the deity there, and he was offering obeisances, and he asked Nityananda Prabhu, please bestow upon me your mercy. And at that time, he heard a voice in his heart that said, you want mercy, but you're not willing to give it. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he understood what that meant. And so, that's when Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, that's when he started taking disciples. So he went back to Navadip. So he actually got a land in Navadip Dham, constructed one. Shri Shri Nikai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Shri Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai. Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he got land there. He constructed one temple there, the Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. And by the mercy of Nityananda, he has that place. So by Nityananda's mercy, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he attained in one place, is in Navdeep Dham. Oh, Jagannath Puri. By whose mercy did by whose kripa did Raghunath Das Goswami get to reside in Jagannath Puri as Sarup Damodar's servant? By Nityananda Prabhu. By Nityananda Prabhu's kripa. Why? Because Raghunath Das Goswami, he came from a family of wealthy landowners. He came from a family of wealthy landowners, and his family, they're described as Vaishnav Prai, like almost Vaishnavs. They had faith in Mahaprabhu, they had faith in Vaishnavs, but they weren't so into it. They weren't so engrossed in Bhakti Yoga. They were like, yeah, this is nice, but let's focus on the money side here. So they were seeing their son Raghunath, and they were thinking, Raghunath is becoming more and more renounced. We don't like this. What if he leaves? And him and his uncles, they didn't understand this. What is going on? He has a wife that looks like Miss Universe. He has all these luxuries, all these pleasures. Why is he always going and being with the Vaishnavas? So, and Raghunath Das Goswami, he wanted to completely go away from there. And he approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he asked Mahaprabhu, I want to renounce all these things and I just want to come and be with you. And Mahaprabhu at that time said, hey, Raghunath, do not perform Varkat Vairagya. Do not perform our renunciation like a monkey. Is it proper to call a monkey a renunciate? No? Why not? They have no house, they have no cloth, they just roam around everywhere, they only live on fruits. But they're not engaged in doing anything improper. All they're doing is, they're doing that. Sure, they have no house, no cloth, no anything. Any smell from your bag, they'll snatch it. Especially they like to take your glasses. Everywhere in Vrindavan, they like to take your glasses. Anywhere, especially Loi Bazaar. But all these monkeys, they're not doing any bhakti, they're just chasing after she monkeys and doing so many other naughty things, like opening the tap to drink water and not closing it, and all these things. Anyway, at that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, hey Raghunath, do not perform Vairagya like a monkey. I want you to go back Act and pretend, go back. You're not ready to renounce everything yet. I want you to go back and pretend to be like a materialist. But in your heart, you keep this as bhakti within your heart and you do your practices internally. So Raghunath, he did that. He went back home. And externally, he pretended to be interested, but internally, he continued doing Harinam and all these things. So one day, he heard that Nityananda Prabhu was coming. So he asked his relatives, "Oh, I want to go and see Nityananda Prabhu. I want to help him with the festival and everything there. Put on a festival for the Vaishnavas." And Raghunath Goswami's his relatives were thinking, okay, well, he's not doing any of this nonsense anymore. He's more into, he relaxed a bit, so he's now taking care of some things around the house and he's relaxed, so we don't think he'll leave. So sure, why not? We can let him go there. So when he got there, Raghunath Goswami, he got there to the place where Nityananda Prabhu was. This pastime took place, and where's that place called? Panihati. That place called Panihati. So he arrived there Raghunath arrived there to where all the Vaishnavas were, and Nityananda Prabhu was there, seated. And when Nityananda Prabhu he saw Raghunath Goswami, he called out, "Hey, thief! Hey, thief! You get over here! You thief!" Like, you think you'll get away from me? But no, today I have caught you. Why was Nityananda Prabhu saying this? It's because Nityananda Prabhu was saying, like, you think you can get my property? But no. He was saying this because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nityananda Prabhu's property. And Raghunath Goswami, he was stealing the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So that's why Nityananda Prabhu said, "You're a thief. You're getting the mercy of Mahaprabhu without coming to me first." And Nityananda Prabhu said, "So now I've caught you, and now I will punish you. And your punishment is to put on a festival for all the Vaishnavas here." So Raghunath Goswami, he did a great feast with only chipped rice and yogurt, chit dahi. And that's why the name of the festival became known as Chit Dahi Mahotsav. So, and there were so many Vaishnavas there, and they were all eating this chipped rice and with yogurt. And there was a lot of Vaishnavas there because they were even standing in the river there and taking prasad. Even there was no room on the ground anymore, so they were in the river taking Mahaprasad. Before the Chit Dahi was offered though, it was given to Nityananda Prabhu so he could offer. And Nityananda Prabhu offered it, and then, unbeknownst to anyone, I think it was only Nityananda Prabhu who saw this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and Nityananda Prabhu offered it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I think the only one who actually saw that was Nityananda Prabhu. I don't know if anyone else. A few others?
I think
Raghunath does? Maybe he saw that. I don't know. Anyhow, I know that Nityananda secretly offered it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time. So after that whole festival, Raghunath Goswami came to Nityananda Prabhu and he asked him for permission to go and see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And Nityananda Prabhu said, "Yes. Yes, do not worry, Raghunath. Soon all these things will be finished and you can go." So after that, Raghunath Goswami, he went back home. And I forget the details, but somehow he escaped. Oh no, wait, what is it? Now I remember. So at that time, it was Yadunandan Acharya, the spiritual master, Raghunath Goswami. He was visiting, he was in town. And Raghunath Goswami said, "I want to go see my Gurudev." And he was also the guru of the other relatives there, the other relatives of Raghunath Das. So they all told him, "Yeah, okay, no problem." Okay, no problem. So they thought, yeah, okay, fine, nothing's gonna happen. So Raghunath Das, he was going, and then instead of going there, he took a detour and started running through all the jungles of Bengal. And he ran for, 13 days or 14 days? Something like that. And he arrived in Jagannath Puri. and there he took shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, he got to be in Jagannath Puri. And he got the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there in Jagannath Puri, and he got them, and there in Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made Raghunath Das the secretary of Swarup Damodar. By whose kripa did that happen? That came from Nityananda Prabhu. So, Kaviraj Goswami, he was explaining all these things to his brother. Not that part, but he was explaining the importance of Nityananda Prabhu. And he was saying, like, my brother, you have this half-hand logic. What is this half-hand logic? Like, so, yeah, you have to feed, like there's one hen, the hen gives eggs, but it's a hassle because you have to feed the hen in order to get the eggs, and so the person thinks, instead of just getting the eggs, and just instead of feeding the hen, I'll just cut off the head of the hen and just get the part that I need, the part that gives the eggs. That's not going to work. So it's a half-hen logic. So Kaviraj Goswami, he was explaining this to his brother. This is half-hen logic. He said it would be better, and he even said it would be better to be it's better to be an atheist than to be a hypocrite. It would be better to slight both brothers, saying I don't have faith in Nityananda, I don't have faith in Gauranga. It's better to do that than to just say, I only have faith in Mahaprabhu and not Nityananda Prabhu. Why was Kaviraj Goswami saying that it's better to be an atheist than a hypocrite? Why? Because an atheist, he can develop faith. If you can preach to him, and then he can be like, okay, Nityananda Prabhu, okay, Mahaprabhu. But a hypocrite already has his own idea how to do things, and he won't accept another way. So he was explaining these things to Kaviraj Goswami. And before he explained these things, the brother of Kaviraj Goswami, he was criticizing Nityananda. At that time, Miniketam Ramdas, he felt very unhappy. So he got his flute that he always carries around, and he broke it. And he said, wherever I do not remain in any place where people have no regard for my Nityananda. And he left that place. And that's when Kaviraj Goswami, he argued with his brother. Somewhere the name of his brother has been documented, but it's very hard to find. So that night, Kaviraj Goswami thought, I do not want to remain in this place either. Nityananda Prabhu, I do not want to remain in this place where Nityananda Prabhu is being blasphemed. So he left that place. And Kaviraj Goswami, he went off and he started to sleep. And then he had a dream. In that dream, Nityananda Prabhu came with with different types of associates. And Nityananda Prabhu, he appeared very interesting. He was very interestingly dressed. Nityananda Prabhu, he was dressed like a cowherd boy. He was dressed like with the plow of Balaram and everything. And he had a turban. And it's interesting because Nityananda Prabhu, he's golden complexioned, and Balaram, he's whitish complexioned. But the form that Nityananda Prabhu, he showed to Kaviraj Goswami in this dream was sham complexioned. So Nityananda Prabhu, he came sham complexioned, wearing a turban and being with his other associates dressed as cowherd boys. And Nityananda Prabhu, he spoke to him, saying, O Kaviraj, for me, you gave up your brother and you gave up your place. Now I'm going to tell you something. Kaviraj, now go to Vrindavan, and there you will attain all. Nityananda Prabhu, he told Krishna's Kaviraj, now go to Vrindavan, and there you will attain all. So, Kaviraj Goswami, he was a very young man. He was not old at that time. He was 18 years old. Give or take, he may have been 17 or 18, but he was not an old man at that time. So, following the instruction of Nityananda Prabhu, he left Bengal and he proceeded to Vrindavan. And there, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he attained Sridham Vrindavan. It was by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu that Kaviraj Goswami attained Vrindavan Dham. So I was explaining before, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Jiva Goswami, he attained Navadvip Dham. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Goswami attained Jagannath Puri Dham. And by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Kaviraj Goswami attained Sri Vrindavan Dham. And what did he attain in there else? What else did he attain in Vrindavan? He attained the association of the six Goswamis. He got to associate with the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, with Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Goswami. By their kripa, he came to understand Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan, all these different tattvas. He got to see the pastime places of Braj. He got to glorify Radha Govinda and taste the sweetness of Vrindavan and the sweetness of Radha and Govinda's pastimes. You know, Kaviraj Goswami has written one book called Govinda Lilamrita. And in Govinda Lilamrita, it describes Govinda Lilamrita describes the Ashtakaliya Lila, the eightfold pastimes, the eightfold daily pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Because you can divide the day into 8 parts, like 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours before dawn, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at noon, 3 hours in the afternoon, 3 hours in the evening, 3 hours at dead of night, like that. You know, Srila Prabhupada, one disciple of our Srila Prabhupada, his name was Rishikeshananda Prabhu, he was asking Srila Prabhupada, I want to ask you some questions about Govinda Lilamrita and Ashtakaliya Lila. And he said, okay, and Srila Prabhupada said, okay. And so he was saying, is the Ashtakaliya Lila, is the Govinda Lilamrita, the Ashtakaliya Lila in full? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes. The Ashtakaliya Lila, Govinda Lilamrita has describes the eightfold daily pastimes of Radha and Krishna in complete detail in full. So our Krishna's Kaviraj, he composed the Govinda Lilamrita there in Vrindavan. It's actually a very nice book. Many Vaishnava, he became famous in the Vaishnava community for composing that book, Govinda Lilamrita, describing the Radha Krishna's pastimes. He composed it in Sanskrit, and it's actually very high-class Sanskrit poetry. We do not know what the background was as of Krishna's Kaviraj. It's not clearly written what his background was. We don't know if he was coming from a business family or anything like that. But our Bhakti Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he wrote in one book, I think it was the Gaudiya Vaishnava Vidan. I can't recall now. I think it was Gaudiya Vaishnava Vidan, composed by Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. That Krishna's Kaviraj, he composed this book with very nice Sanskrit poetry. At the time that he appeared, it could not be possible for him to be in any other caste than the Brahmin caste in order to know this type of Sanskrit poetry. So it's more than likely that he was coming from Brahmin caste, that was his background. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he composed Govinda Lilamrita. And one day, one Vaishnava came to him. His name was Haridas Goswami. He was the pujari of Sri Radha Govinda Dev. And he told Krishna's Kaviraj, Kaviraj Goswami, daily we're reciting the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. This describes his early pastimes, his Navadip Leela, where he grew up, his pastimes in Navadip Dham, his pastimes of how he got married, his pastimes after he got married. But once it reaches his pastimes of when he took sannyas, it doesn't go very far. Only 1 or 2 pastimes after, only 1 or 2 sannyas pastimes are mentioned of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he did not go into detail. Vrindavan Das Thakur, the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, did not go into detail about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sannyasa lila. Why? Because for him it was an unhappy thing. For him, he became very sad writing these things. So he thought, I'm not going to touch that. And he wrote there, and Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote, in the future, Vyasadeva will explain more. So Haridas Goswami, he approached Krishna's Kaviraj and said, I want you, Kaviraj Goswami, could you please compose almost a book on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that describes his sannyas pastimes? We're very eager to hear these pastimes. The pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they only and that is Grihastha and Sannyas, only end at his Grihastha Lila. We want to know about his Sannyas Lila. So Kaviraj Goswami at that time, he was very old. I do not know his exact age, but his eyesight was failing him, he was going deaf, his hands would shake, and he was thinking, how am I going to do that? I cannot even write properly. How am I supposed to write a book on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now in my old age? And he was thinking of what to do. This Vaishnava has instructed me. Agya Gurunamya Avachintaniya. The order of Shri Guru must be carried out. So he went to the temple of Madan Mohan and he was taking darshan of Shri Madan Mohan Dev. And he was thinking this, oh, Madan Mohan, how am I going to do this? This Vaishnava has instructed me to write a book on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but how am I supposed to do this? So at that time, the garland of Madan Mohan Krishna fell. And that's always a very auspicious sign. That's actually a very auspicious sign. If the garland falls from the deity, that means that something very auspicious. It usually means that something very auspicious is going to happen to a particular person. So that garland fell from the deity of Madan Mohan, and the pujari, his name is written, but I don't remember his name. And that pujari got the garland from Madan Mohan, and he gave it, and he put it on the neck of Krishna's Kaviraj. And then Krishna's Kaviraj, he understood, okay, Madan Mohan, he's now giving blessings. And he is also now ordering me to write this Chaitanya Charitamrita, to write this book on the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he then came, he then began to write. He then began to compose the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is what later became, this is what that book was later named. And there he describes that, actually, I'm not writing this. My hands, I'm losing my eyesight, I'm going deaf, my hands are shaking, but somehow or other I'm writing. Actually, this is really Madan Mohan who's doing all of this. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami said, Madan Mohan is dictating to me these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I'm writing them down and repeating them like a parrot. One time, one interviewer, he was interviewing some news reporter or someone, he was interviewing our Srila Prabhupada, and I was asking him, so, I don't recall the question that he was posed, but Srila Prabhupada was saying that, yes, Krishna comes and directly dictates to me, and then I'm writing these books. So these books are actually written by Krishna. Krishna is telling me, and then I'm writing down on what Krishna is telling me. And the devotees wanted to, tell the interviewer, correct Prabhupada, saying, he's saying that Krishna is inspiring him and to write. And Prabhupada said, hey, no, Krishna is directly coming to me and speaking to me, and then I'm writing down what Krishna is telling me. So this was also the case with Krishna's Kaviraj. This was also the case with our Baladev Vidibhushan Prabhu. I'm not going to get into that pastime, but he was ordered to write one book on the Vedanta Sutra, and he was thinking, how to do it, how to write this book. So he went to the temple of Govinda Dev, and in front of the deity of Govinda, he was thinking, how to do this. I think at that time also the garland fell, and he was also given that garland. Anyway, in his commentary to the Vedanta Sutra, Baladev Vidibhushan Prabhu, he writes, I'm not writing this. Govinda Dev, he's dictating this to me, and I'm writing. Actually, it is really that Govinda Dev is the actual author of this book, Govinda Bhashya. So, Kaviraj Goswami, taking the mercy of Madan Mohan, he then began to compose this Chaitanya Charitamrita. How did I get to this topic? I think I was explaining. Yeah, but in the beginning of class, I was explaining the shlok. I was explaining one shlok. That's how this topic came up.
Yes.
So what I was saying is that in the beginning of his book, look, Kaviraj Goswami, he did Mangala Charan. He did an auspicious invocation. In the beginning of the book, he glorified Shri Guru, he glorified all gurus, and he glorified all the different manifestations of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he composed one very nice shloka on Nityananda Prabhu Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahavadito Gaudadaya Pushpanto Chitrashando Tamonadho. I offer my obeisances unto Sri Nityananda and Sri Chaitanya Dev, who appeared in Bengal, all like the rising moon and the rising sun simultaneously. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahavadito Gaudadaya Pushpanto Chitrashando Tamonadho. Oh, to destroy ignorance, they have appeared in the land of Bengal, simultaneously like a shining moon and a shining sun. Then Kaviraj Goswami, he went into different shloks, explaining the godhood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after composing all those shlokas, he did not compose most of them. Actually, those shlokas were coming from Srup Damodar, who was the secretary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Kaviraj Goswami, he added them, or he put them in his Mangala Charan. And towards the end, he then glorified. Then after glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and explaining his tattva, he went to go on and glorify Nityananda Prabhu and explain Nityananda's tattva. Then he glorified Advaita Acharya, explained Advaita tattva and Panchatattva tattva. And then he went on to glorify Madan Mohan and Govinda and Gopinath. And he mentions there in his Mangala Charan that these three deities, they are the three Thakurs of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. They are three Thakurs of the Vaishnavas, of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We have Madan Mohan, who is the deity of Sambandha Tattva, knowledge of relationship, Avideya, the process, and Prayojan, the goal. So our Sambandha, our relationship, is with Sri Krishna. The process to attain Sri Krishna is devotion to him, Krishna Bhakti. And the goal is love of Krishna, Krishna Prem. Prayojan is Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. So these three deities, they're in charge of that. Madan Mohan, who is in charge of Sambandha Tattva, knowledge of relationship. Govinda Dev, who's in charge of Abhideya Tattva, knowledge of the process to attain him, Krishna Bhakti. Then Gopinath, who is the deity who is in charge of Prayojan Tattva, what is the goal of Krishna Prem. So, after glorifying all these different personalities, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who wrote, in the beginning of this narration, I've glorified all these different personalities. I've glorified Shri Guru, Vaishnavas, and I've glorified Bhagavan, Krishna. And by their mercy, I'm able to now write this book without any obstacles. Then he went on and he composed, and he wrote different pastimes by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now we can get to our topic of today. That was all introduction. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachirupasana Brajavadu Vargena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramamamalam Premapumarito Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamitam Tatra Dharunapara. This was a shlok that was very dear to our Srila Gurudev. Our Gurudev, he said that someone who does not know this shlok, he's not actually my disciple. This shlok is extremely important. In this shlok, it describes the whole philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a nutshell. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has described the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a nutshell in this shlok. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas. In the beginning of this shlok, Krishna Chakravarti Thakur has written that our worshipful Ishtadev, our worshipful Lord, is Brajesh Chaitanya. This is the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our worshipful Lord is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Bhagavan. What is the meaning of Bhagavan? Bhagavan means Ashwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Shariya. What is this? The shlok was. Not the short shlok. Well, first of all, what is the meaning of Bhagavan? Bhag means opulence, and Van means one who possesses. So Bhagavan means one who possesses opulence. This means God. And God has 6 types of opulences. Ashwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashaha Shriyaha Jnanavaigra Goshteva Shanam Bhagamitingana. Bhagavan has all Ashwarya. Samagrasya means in full. Ashwaryasya Samagrasya. He has all opulence in full. We know that Krishna had all opulence in Dwarka. We know that Krishna had 16,108 wives. Krishna had so many different horses, different palaces, gold, all these things. So Bhagavan has all these things. Bhagavan has all wealth. Ashwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya. He has all power. He has all power and strength. We know that Krishna had so many mystic abilities. What is it? Yasha. Krishna has all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. So I'm simply saying Krishna, 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 because this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. This is our Ishtadev. Our Ishtadev is Sri Krishna. For somebody else, his Ishtadev may be Shriman Narayan, or his Ishtadev may be Sri Ramchandra. All of them are Bhagavan. But we're specifically looking at Sri Krishna here. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, you wrote Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Chaitanyas Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. And we're worshipping who? We're worshipping the son of Nanda Maharaj. We're worshipping Krishna, who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. We're not worshipping Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva Maharaj. Actually, this is a very interesting thing to discuss. Is Krishna, whose son is he actually? Is he the son of Vasudeva Maharaj, or is he the son of Nanda Maharaj? Well, let me phrase the question differently. Krishna, is he the son of Vasudeva, Devaki and Vasudeva, or is he the son of Yashoda and Nanda? Hey, Haribol Namesh Bro, how are you? Haribol Elena, Haribol Isham. Welcome. We've heard from Srimad Bhagavatam. We've heard this story, right? That Kamsa. We've heard, right, that on the day of Kamsa's, on the day that Devaki he got married, right? Kamsa's sister Devaki. Kamsa was then, and he decided, what was this? Yes. So when Vasudeva married Devaki, they were going to go and live at their house. They were then leaving Mathura, and they were going to go and live where Vasudeva Maharaj resided. So at that time, Kamsa, he told the chariot driver, don't drive, I will drive. And so Kamsa, he began driving the chariot. And as he was driving, he heard a voice in the sky saying, Kamsa, you fool, you do not know that the 8th son of Devaki will kill you. So at that time, Kamsa, he became fearful, and he got one sword, and he tried to kill Devaki. At that time, Vasudeva Maharaj, she stopped Kamsa and said, Kamsa, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to defend myself. The 8th son of my sister, she's going to kill me. And Vasudeva Maharaj said, Kamsa, use some logic here. You have to be intelligent. You're glorified. Everyone glorifies you as being such a great personality, that you're such a great king. Actually, Kamsa didn't have any of these good qualities, but Vasudeva Maharaj was trying to pacify him and convince him not to do this horrible activity of killing his sister. So that time, Vasudeva Maharaj was telling him, if you kill your sister, you'll be blasphemed. You will not become famous. You'll get infamy by killing your sister. And he used so many different types of arguments. And finally, Vasudeva Maharaj convinced him. He convinced Kamsa, okay, I won't kill my sister. Okay, you're right, I won't kill my sister. It's not the first son that's going to kill me, it's the 8th son, so we'll look into that problem later. So Vasudeva Maharaj and Devaki, they finally went back home and they thought of what to do and what's going to happen. So it came to be that Vasudeva Maharaj, she got one son, and he brought the son to Kamsa. And Kamsa, he said, oh, look, my nephew. And Kamsa said, okay, that's very nice. But Vasudeva, you can take this son back. This is not the son that's going to kill me. It's the 8th one, not the first one. So Vasudeva Maharaj, he went back, but he was thinking, Kamsa said that, but I don't believe him. At any time, he can change his mind. So at that time, the great sage Narad Muni, he came into the assembly of Kamsa. And Narad Muni, his whole mentality is, okay, let's stop delaying things, let's get Krishna into the picture as soon as possible. So Narad Muni came into the assembly of Kamsa, and Kamsa, he offered obeisance to Narad Muni and said, oh great sage, oh Narad, what do you want? Like, how can I help you? He said, Kamsa, why are you acting like a fool? And Kamsa was so confused, Narad, what are you talking about? Like you let Vasudeva and Devaki go with their child? Well, yeah, it's the 8th one that's going to kill me, not the first one. And then Narad said, okay, come here. And so he got, I don't remember what he got exactly, but we'll say he got 8 pebbles and said, okay, now you count these 8 pebbles. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., 8. All right. And now, and then he switched them. And then Narad Muni got these 2 pebbles and he switched them. And now what happened? Well, now the 8th became the 1st, and the 1st became the 8th. And Narad Muni said, look, the demigods are very clever. The devatas are very clever. They will make, it is possible that they'll make the 8th son the first son. So better you get rid of all of them. And so Kamsa thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So he imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki, and then one by one, every child that was born by Devaki, Kamsa would kill. The 7th one appeared to be a miscarriage, but what actually happened was that the 7th son was transferred. The baby was transferred from one womb to the womb of Vasudeva Maharaj's other wife, Rohini. So it appeared to be a miscarriage, but it wasn't. So finally the time came for the 8th child to be born. And during that time, things were very interesting. Like, it was raining, and then there was a storm going on, and then it became calm. And then all the guards in the jail cell, they all became very sleepy, and they all fell asleep. And then the jail doors, they opened. The locks, once they fell on the floor, and the shackles that were on Vasudeva and Devaki, they also fell off. So at that time, the Supreme Lord Krishna, he appeared in a 4-armed form. He appeared in the form of Vishnu, wielding chakra, wielding his disc, his conch shell, his lotus flower, and a club. And Devaki and Vasudeva, they prayed to him. And Devaki said, my Lord, your form is very wonderful, but if anyone sees you like this, they won't believe that you're my son. So please make yourself into a normal baby, maybe a 2-armed baby, not having 4 arms and not having a mace and all these things. And so Lord Vishnu, he then took this form of baby Krishna, and he ordered Vasudeva and Devaki, now go to Vrindavan, now go to Gokul. Exact place he said Gokul. Now go to Gokul. Cross the Yamuna and go to Gokul. And you leave me in the house of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. and Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva Maharaj, they were friends, so they knew each other very well. So Vasudeva Maharaj knew exactly where to go. So, taking that baby Krishna, he went. So carrying baby Krishna, he left the jail cell, and he came to the river Yamuna. And at that time, Anantashesh, or Shesha, he came, and he came to cover Krishna. He came with his many hoods. He covered Krishna like an umbrella. Then then Vasudeva Maharaj, he came to the river Yamuna, and it was very harsh condition. The water was flowing, and it was very dangerous to go in. But then Vasudeva Maharaj began to think, oh, what to do. So at that time, the river had parted ways. And so at that time, so it just became a nice path for Vasudeva Maharaj to walk. So at that time, Vasudeva Maharaj, he walked through. And he got to the home of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. And he saw there that Mother Yashoda had given birth, right, to a baby girl. So Vasudeva Maharaj, he left the girl there. He put the baby Krishna there. He left the boy there, and he took the baby girl. But according to Harivamsha, Harivamsh Puran, there wasn't only one baby girl there. No, there were two children there. According to Harivamsh Puran, there were two. Mother Yashoda didn't just give birth to a girl. Mother Yashoda gave birth to twins, a baby boy and a baby girl. But Vasudeva Maharaj, when he got there, he did not see this. Why? Because Krishna covered him with his mystic illusion, with his yogamaya potency. Krishna covered him. He covered his eyes, so he did not see the baby boy. So at that time, Vasudeva Maharaj, he put his baby Krishna there, and this Vasudeva Nandan Krishna, the son of Vasudeva Krishna, merged with the son of Yashoda Krishna. So these two baby boys, they merged and became one Krishna. And Vasudeva Maharaj, he got the baby, he got the baby girl, and then crossed over. And then crossed over the river, and then got back. So, interesting to note there, when in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is written, so when Vasudeva Maharaj was returning, he carried Krishna's sister. Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't mention anything about two babies or anything like that. It just says, at that time, Vasudeva carried Krishna's sister. How can Krishna have a sister? How can Krishna have a sister if he was born by Devaki? He has a sister because Shishi Radha Devaki. Okay, time for Arctic. Shishi Gaudin So I will make one. So I will finish up here, 2 minutes, to complete my point. So I'll finish 2 minutes to complete my point. So at that time, Vasudeva Maharaj, he brought that baby girl back. And at that time, when he went back into the jail cell, then the jail cell closed, it became locked, and the shackles that were previously fell, they came back onto Vasudeva Maharaj and Devaki. And the baby girls then began to cry, and everyone was awoken from their sleep. And then immediately Kamsa was informed. So at that time, Kamsa, he wanted to kill the baby girl, and Devaki pleaded with him, no, Kamsa, it's a son that's going to kill you, not a girl. And Kamsa said, I don't care, this is the 8th child, I'm going to kill it. So Kamsa, he picked up the girl and wanted to kill it. But at that time, the girl almost slipped from his hand and went into the sky. And she became Durga Devi. Then Kamsa was shocked, because Durga Devi is his worshipful lord.
She said, you fool!
Kamsa, listen to this. She said, Kamsa, you fool. Your killer has already been born elsewhere. Now listen to this. Now listen very clearly to this line. Kamsa, you fool. your killer has already been born elsewhere. Why did Durga say this?
Because Krishna is the son of Nanda and Yashoda.
That's the point.
Born to Yashoda.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Anyway. Ek minute. Durga could have just said your killer has already been born. This would imply, yes, he was born in Mathura. But Durga didn't say that. She said your killer has already been born elsewhere. Or Durga could have just said your killer is already elsewhere. This would imply, yes, the killer was taken from Mathura to Vrindavan. She could have just said that, or your killer is already elsewhere. But Durga didn't say that. She said your killer has already been born elsewhere. This means that Krishna was born in Braj. Krishna, he appeared in Mathura, but he actually took his birth in Braj. Anyway, that is another pastime for today, and for another day. Anyway, thank you all for coming here on this most auspicious day. Now we're going to do Aarti. Jai. Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. Shri Yashoda Maya ki Jai. Shri Nanda Baba ki Jai. Panchakalapatru Vishnu Kriva Shindudev Charitanam Pavaniyo Vishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
After Aarti.
Happy birthday to you.
After Aarti.
Happy birthday to you.
What part did after Aarti did you guys not understand?
Birthday to you.
We'll do it again after.
Yeah.
My dear.
Vishnu Pada Shloka Sri 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 Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Nitibila Pravishno Vishnupad, Stotra Sadasi Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitibila Pravishno Vishnupad, Stotra Sadasi Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitibila Pravishno Vishnupad, Stotra Sadasi Srimad Acharya Kesari Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitibila Pravishno Vishnupad, Stotra Sadasi Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitibila Pravishno Vishnupad, Stotra Sadasi Srimad Srila Gurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Satchidananda Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Gauri Vedanta Acharya Srila Baladevi Vyabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Narottam Srinivas Yamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Jiva Gopal Bhattadasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Gaura Parshadavinda Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राजा कृष्ण गो गोप गो गोवर्धन पादश वर्णात्मक श्री ब्रजमंडल की जय। श्री मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा जी की जय। यमुना गंगा भक्ति जल श्री देवी की जय। समागत भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। Oh yes. All right. Today is Prabhuji's birthday. Let us all give blessings for continued sadhu sangha, long life, and service at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Govinda and Goloka Vrindavan Dham. Swastino, swasti Govinda, swastino Chitanando, swasti, swasti, swasti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Mangalam bhavatu kalyanam bhavatu dirghayushman bhavatu bhaktiman bhavatu.
Dear devotees, I want to ask for blessings for my mother too. Her birthday's coming up on Thursday. Can we shower her with some grace too, some mercy?
Yes.
All our good.
What is the prayer?
Swastino.
Swastino, swasti Govinda, swastino Chitananto.
Forgot to.
He knows.
So,
He knows.
I have to do.
You know?
Yeah, do it for her.
Oh, for her?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do I get flowers too?
Yeah.
Here's a flower.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Swasti no Govindaha, swasti no Achyutanando, swasti no Vasudevo Vishnu Tadatu, swasti no Narayano Narovai, swasti no Padmanabhaha Purushottamo Tadatu, swasti no Vishwakseno Vishesharam, swasti no Rishikesho Haditadatu, swasti no Vanyateyo Harihi, स्वस्ति नो अंजनासुतो हनुर्भगवतो ददातु स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमंगले केशव महान् श्रीकृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दगणः सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो ददातु ॐ स्वस्तिः स्वस्तिः स्वस्तिः
The one that looks like a sister.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I forgot, huh?
Yes, looks so the same.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah, go get them.
You guys look so alike.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Rocky, when is your birthday? Okay.